Federal child care funding halted for multiple states amid fraud concerns. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, has announced a freeze on more than $10 billion in federal funding for child care and social assistance programs in 5 Democratic-led states, triggering political conflict and raising concerns about the impact on low-income families. Federal officials say the action aims to ensure federal taxpayer funds are used legitimately, while state leaders have criticized the decision as politically motivated and potentially harmful to families who rely on these services. Funding freeze targets key assistance programs. According to the HHS announcement, funds intended for programs that support child care, family assistance, and other essential services will be restricted until state officials provide additional documentation addressing concerns over potential fraud and misuse. The affected programs include the Child Care and Development Fund, CCDF, which subsidizes child care for low-income families. The Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, TNF program, providing cash aid and work-related support. The Social Services Block Grant, which funds a range of social services such as daycare, protective services, and other community support. States targeted by the funding freeze include California, Colorado, Illinois, Minnesota, and New York. HHS has stated that access to these funds will remain restricted pending further review, as officials demand more detailed verification that the money is being spent lawfully and for its intended purposes. Administration cites fraud concerns. Federal officials have pointed to concerns that benefits intended for eligible residents may have been improperly distributed, including to individuals who are not legally eligible under federal law. While the administration has not released specific evidence of widespread fraud in all 5 states, investigations, particularly in Minnesota, have been cited as part of the rationale for tightening oversight. In Minnesota, millions of dollars in child care funding have already been frozen since late last year, amid scrutiny of alleged fraud at daycare centers. State officials have been given deadlines to provide comprehensive audits and detailed information about providers and recipients in order to potentially restore access to funding. Political backlash and state response. Democratic state leaders have strongly criticized the funding freeze, arguing that the move will harm vulnerable families and disrupt critical services at a time when the cost of child care remains a major concern for American households. Officials from the affected states have denounced the action as politically and ideologically driven, rather than based on transparent evidence. New York Governor Kathy Hochul and other Democratic officials have indicated that legal challenges to the funding freeze are likely, stressing that withholding support for child care and family assistance could have severe consequences for working parents and children who depend on these programs. Impact on families and services. Child care subsidies play a vital role in helping parents participate in the workforce and maintain financial stability. About 1.8 million children receive support through the Federal Child Care and Development Block Grant on average each month. Funding interruptions could leave many families struggling to afford quality child care, potentially affecting employment and economic security. State officials have emphasized that while preventing fraud and proper stewardship of federal dollars is important, the approach to restricting funds must balance oversight with the need to ensure families have access to essential services. The debate has focused attention on the broader challenges of administering large federal assistance programs and the mechanisms used to prevent misuse while maintaining access for eligible participants.